All right, we're slowly test fitting everything. Working great. Electric fans are kicking on. We are doing a wiring harness next. Excuse my mess. And we are welding on. I'm actually going to redo this drive line right now. I don't like that at all. We're just starting to run Flowmaster 40 series duals, 2.5 inch. And we're going to run that all the way out the tail for the best sound. I want the tone to it. And yeah, lo and behold, figured out longer pipes create a lot better tone. So there you go, bear with me. Continue my saga. All right, back at it once again. We got 2 exhaust kits because this damn thing's so long. That's what she said. Anyway, we tacked up everything. It's not complete welded all the way yet. We put some Flowmasters in there, offset center. These are actually from another job, but they worked out perfect on my truck. The hanger's all up and everything, mounted it. Sounds great. I love it. I love it. All right, I'm back in here. I think we're gonna go ahead and start cleaning everything up, priming it up for paint. We got a shifter set up, but I gotta somehow connect this guy right here. But sounds good, man. Bear with me. We're gonna keep moving. All right, back on it. Sorry it's been so long. Anyway, running our 5/16 fuel line, 3/8 supply fuel line. Make sure you got fuel line. You run a vacuum line, you're making a big boo-boo. And we mounted our like 40-gallon tank back here. I'm sure this thing is gonna cost me like maybe my arm or a lot of money to fill. Exhaust is all piped in, sounding great. But we're gonna go ahead and get our lines. We're gonna run them right down the inner side of that frame with clamps that have rubber on them. I actually got to find those so I can show you what I'm talking about. Then I think next step, we're gonna just go ahead and gut the last of the few things in here, get it all ground into bare metal, and then start working our Rust-Oleum. Well, we're gonna work on these fuel lines first, one thing at a time. All right, back at it. Let me zoom out. Boom. Okay, we're simply cleaning every damn piece on this thing. Digging in deep. I want to go deeper than the paint, bare metal. We want to look something like that on the whole inside of this. I got to do some fabrication. Under this dirty friggin' shirt is my motor. And we got to rip out all these original gauges. Anything to do with wiring. This new gauge set was temporary, just to check motor when I was running. But yeah, we're going to hit all this. Get down in there. Now these, anyway, the VIN numbers. I'm going to pull these plates off because back in the day, they didn't have thieves. And now, they steal anything. Anyway, just Phillips screws on these old guys. Pull these off, save them for the inspection. We're going to cut in and we're going to work our way all the way through this thing. I think the last thing we're going to do is pull our wipers, motors out. Blow it all out. Scuff and buff it. We're just going to use black Rust-Oleum and then just custom build all the flat metal for the floor. Set it up for a gas pedal, the brake. Now I got a new brake unit for this thing, a master cylinder brake booster. I think the master cylinder is going to mount out here, and then the brake booster will be on the other side of the firewall of it, which would be kind of weird, but this thing has a really short nose. So that's why they call it fabrication, man. But there it is. Keep on watching. I'm going to dig into this a little deeper. All right, we are back at it. This is actually, hold on, let me zoom out. This is a piece of floor pan. All the floor pans in this thing were pretty much toast, so we got some 1/8 inch. Used a little brake. Retraced some of the old parts. Bolt holes, angles. Used the brake. So we're going to go ahead and keep on pushing on this. Bear with me. And here's what it is. Okay, with our new motor under, this thing actually sits like this, passenger side. Yeah, same deal. But we're stopping it right here because I need it higher to exceed the height of the engine. Fits almost perfect. We want to cut this out too. This is another really bad patch, but I'm going to work on getting this up and over so all this dust and crap ain't going down my carburetor, which I'm keeping covered with a towel most of the time. But we'll work it on the other side first, and then we'll do the hump last. That way we got our height all the way for everything just right. Keep on watching, I got you. I know it sounds weird, but we get a marker. We cut this thing to size, notched for everything. This is going to be our basically our pattern for our floor plan on the driver's side. Floorboard 47 COE. Well, bear with me. We're going to cut this out and then trace it to the metal. All right, this is what we're setting up. We're simply tacking it together. This whole piece across is going to be one piece that can simply lift out. And we got to finish the last piece from here to here. I just got a little 12-inch break, so I just do little chunks at a time. But it's easier for me to do a little less than the whole complete thing. Gets a little tricky on angles and whatnot, but it's looking good so far. A couple shaft tuckers just to hold it in place, but there is 1/2-inch screws that will mount this. All right, and here's how we ended up on our roughed in floor panel. One piece, and yeah, it will bolt down. We're going to go ahead and finish our welding out here so we don't light nothing on fire or damage any wiring. Give it the sand and paint it up, make it look good. All right, back on my venture. Got my mind set. Anyway, we're finishing polishing up some of the metal. Got little pans and whatnot getting painted, fixing wiring, just kind of setting everything in place. Got our old school shifter, just something, I don't know, I built a little setup. It works. We're gonna go ahead and get our brake booster set up. Got our charging system actually working, don't mind the wiring. I know. And our brake booster, the master cylinder is gonna be outside. This one doesn't have enough room, so we're kind of on a short distance, and as you can see the master cylinder there, it's going to be right here. Therefore, and we got this all cleaned up and painted underneath here, and we're going to mount that master cylinder, or brake booster, sorry, is going to be right about here, but we got to modify the aftermarket hardware that came with it to actually make it work, and then possibly bend the pedal. We did set up our gas pedal. I put a rod off the back of this, and it's got one rod that goes to the carburetor with a double spring, so it actually works lovely. Shifter works great, nothing fancy. This is all stuff I just made at home, by the way. Scrap parts, but you know what, you can't buy nothing for them anyway. And we got to get some battery terminals. No need for the charger anymore, but yeah, we're knocking right through her. Finished taking everything out of the dash. The back side is actually completely scuffed and painted up, and we're working our way through everything else in the cab right now, getting this all clean. And I gotta simply make a couple L brackets. We're gonna set it up for these seats right here, which are probably getting reupholstered, but they fit like perfect. We do have to notch the front and bend those down flat, so this thing will actually just boop all 4 bolts. So far, so good. Keep on watching. All right, here we go. We got the interior coming together well. Yeah, we ain't done with nothing in there, but we did get the seats mounted. I ended up kind of modifying the bolts pattern and all that, making it adjustable, all 4 bolts, and we now have room to build some kind of a maybe a cover right here and a sensor console up there. And why I say that is because we got the old school wrench for the shifter. It's gonna take some space. So other than that, we're coming along just fine. Yeah. All right. Oh boy, definitely pull your hair out on this part. I should have skipped all this. Anyway, wiring harness time for the COE, hiding around the corner. Anyway, it's broken branches when you first get it. Tail section, dash section. And if you look at every wire on the side of it, you can read what it says. I'm about to not be able to read. Pretty soon I'll be blind. Anyway, different horn relays. This is actually the fuse box. I'm going to mount this. I want to conceal as much wiring as possible. I want a nice clean job. And I like to wrap mine in this fabric tape. This is amazing stuff. So bear with me. We're going to get this going. All right, we've now custom built our little own brake setup out of what came. Since this is going to have to go on the firewall in my application, there's no room. Here's our master cylinder, and that's going to take up everything we got out here. So improvise. I extended this plate up to accommodate the height of this 2-inch tube to accommodate the distance of this over here. So everything will work factory other than drilling a new hole here for the brake pedal to function correctly. Long story short, got it all marked out in there. I'm going to go ahead and pop a hole through there. And then, long story short, our brand new whippersnapper will mount right here on the outside. Hopefully it doesn't make too much noise from the vacuum of the booster, but we should be good. Bear with me. All right, back at this beautiful spaghetti bowl metal mess. We got our fuse box mounted, getting our wiring in. I did like literally scrape all the crap, the rust off the inside of the under the dash, repainted it with Rust-Oleum. And now we're simply starting on the full wiring front to back. All this will be hooked up, well, not all of it, but like half of it, and we're going to leave all the options available. Taillight section to the back. We got our shifter set up. I did build the brake pedal, but it's drying in paint. I'll have that in a later video. So there we go. All right, back at it, gentlemen, as my cloud of smoke arises. Okay, we've mounted the brake master and booster. I did have to cut a small hole in there. Just kind of painting up things. Ran our wiring. Got a regulator all hooked up. Tapped into it for the power to the fan controls for the electric fan, which I got to make a few brackets for. Alternator's hooked up. While we're at it, we did run the horn wire, air horn. This thing is loud as hell. And just kind of wrapped around there. Used the insulated clamps. Popped up through there, main harness. And I RTV'd the hell out of this thing to keep it from wiggling like a grommet. Couldn't find one that big. I think we're going to trim this up, maybe make it smaller so it doesn't have the possibility of rubbing there. But all aside that, kind of got our wiring ran for our headlights and whatnot, turn signals, high beam, low beam. We are going through all the wiring, figuring out where our little doodads, lighters, setting up the whole gauge setup. I'm going to run like a Dakota Digital Dash or something in here or so. Setting up for our radio, which, man, screw it. I'll probably end up putting the screen right there, resetting the glove box, mounting everything up. Here's our brake booster, which we did not have enough room to put out front, so we put it in here. Got it all set up. This is a temporary brake. This is just kind of get it set up, pumping, and get me a shape so I could actually bend and make a correct one. I used the original pedal, just for shits and giggles. Gas pedal, I'm going to cut that a little thinner. We got everything tied into the battery, grounded out well. Our shifter linkage set up. We're just hammering away, man. One thing at a time, getting our little gauges hooked up. I do have to order some parts with our massive dome light. That's coming out temporary. But all aside that, got our wiring ran to the back, kind of prefabbed up. And just setting up everything. We're going to have to actually extend this because this is going to be about probably, I'm going to say about 3 feet longer than it is. I want to make it fit a full car. You know, not be huge, but I want to air ride on it so it can dump. No ramps, dovetail. But she's running well. Key switch is all tightened up. I just unplugged the battery while I'm doing the wiring, but it does fire right up and run now. That was a great location for my key, I figured. We're looking good. Bear with me. And our seats go right back in. I'll get that in just a minute in the video. We're looking good. All right, as we continue, I'll try to make this quick and painless. We mounted the proportioner valve. We'll run the electrical off that for the safety. Running all brand new lines all the way down the frame with rubber clamps. Hold on here. It's back there. But anyway, I use these style clamps. They do an amazing job. 5/16 self tappers right to the frame, lever face so they don't rub anywhere. So that, as a proportioner valve, that lineup would go into the back two setups, and then one on the bottom and one on the front. Those spread out and go one front, one on each side. These are the supplies, which I'm probably going to route somewhere up and over, follow it over, and then directly into the master itself. Well, we're not going to put any fluid in this until we got all the lines set up. We'll be bleeding it from the Zerks and vacuuming it through. So I'm going to fast forward here. I don't want to have you guys bored watching my video, do I? So I'm going to go ahead and do all this, and then I'll make another video. Bear with me. All right, back at it. One of the front fenders of the COE. Yeah, we got to rebuild all this. I've been adding metal underneath on the backside of this, and then some parts all the way through. Let me flip it over here. That's what we're doing. Okay, that's what I'm doing on the inside. Nothing fancy. This is my truck, so I don't care. As long as it works, it's solid, I'm gonna call it good. I'm gonna try to get this straight, even though it does angle out, kind of bananas. But we got this. We're going to go ahead and finish buttoning up welding just piece by piece so you don't get it too hot in any one specific spot. And then we got some more to add up through here as well. So, said and done. We're going to have it all patched up. And then I'm going to work the headlight last. That way if anything warps, it don't mess with what I got going. We're going to give that a quick grind. Make sure you got clean metal. And boom! Give me a minute. Yeah. Welcome back, YouTube. Getting down to the nitty gritty, and we're talking gritty. I've done cut out a bunch of stuff which I should have actually covered, but this has got all brand new metal, and you can kind of see the outline of it. Patches just everywhere, cut out all the rust, dug all the way in. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep these access doors for the flappers. And we're trying to cut in. I can't separate this. It's basically butt welded with one another. Made that way. And we're working out on fenders and everything right now. We're going to recess the headlight just a hair when we get finished product. But I want one thing at a time. Get everything perfect. This was where the step went, which we reinforced thicker metal. And also on the bottom, it's just patches everywhere. You got to cut that rust out of there. That cancer will get you every time, man. May take a couple years, but it will be back to bite you in the ass, and that's why I ain't got no ass, because I've been bitten so many times. So bear with me. All right, back at it this afternoon. As you can see, I am putting something called on a skim coat. I actually want this as thin as possible. I've banged out any dents with a hammer. Got a couple spots that still need some metal. But pretty much, I had stripped this baby all the way down to the seats back out. We got dust everywhere. Waiting to put the dash, and I have a new chrome steering column. My phone's dirty, so am I. Anyway, we're going to work this out. I'm going to weld some metal on this piece right here under it while it's mounted to the truck so it maintains the correct form. If you weld it, you're risking possibility that it may open up or twist or just something. So if you put your metal scabs on, which is going to be getting filled in, we're doing a different setup but similar for the lights. But yeah, we're skim coating, doing the top. Found dents that I didn't even know were here, but 2 gallons of friggin' body filler in, man. We're gonna try to keep this about a 1/16 inch thick, called the skim coat. So bear with me and we'll get back on it. And I know you like my dome light, man. Check that out, 4-foot, nothing but fluorescent, baby. All right, we're back at it this morning. Working on some final. We're gonna have to give this a once over. I know it's just rough cut for now, but wanted to see what it looked like on the front of this thing. Got the progress, looking good. Put one seat back in so I can move it. Obviously, kind of Rust-Oleum. Some of this, we cut out some bad metal, put new metal in. Looking good. Got the back side here looking lovely. We got a skim coat to put over this, so we just touch and touch. Sand coat, sand coat, sand coat. Looking great. So bear with us. We're gonna finish this, man. I ain't backing down till she's all the way done. New glass, new wiring, new everything. And I think I'm gonna cut in that front bumper there, flush it up with the front, kind of make it look like roll pan style, real tight. We're gonna make it solid, but I'm gonna tuck it back about 4 or 5 inches, cut it in, make it look smooth. There it be with my custom dome light. Yeah, man. Everything in here is dusty. This is actually clean black paint. It's just covered in nasty right now. But bear with us. And we're working on getting that piece out, possibly redoing some wipers. But like I said, we're just going over everything. We got to cut a little new metal in on this side. I don't like this whole panel's getting replaced. Rip it off. And then we slowly clean up everything, Rust-Oleum it. That piece is coming out, useless. Mount our shocks. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. These are getting replaced, or at least at a minimal, fully clean. Maybe soda blast, repaint, put them on. I think we're gonna paint the tank too, and then as soon as we get this done, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the bed on it. I might C-notch the frame just a little bit right there, because this has got to go all the way down. We have these airbags from a semi, brand new, with the leveling valve. Oh, this thing's going to be on point when we're done, boys.